Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther? Episode of Real Talk Corner Live. I am your co-host, Hadassah Charles McLeod. We'll be joined by our host, Esther, shortly. Thank you for your patience thus far. We have been experiencing some technical difficulties. Oh, here she is. Sometimes you can
Hello,
plan everything, you
hello.
can be on time, and then the technology just does not cooperate. But we thank you
Yeah,
for being here tonight. Please share the live as we wait for our guests to come in and for our audience to come in. Esther, how are you tonight? You look lovely. Comme
I
toujours, as
thank
usual,
you,
as the French
thank
say.
you. I think we having a lot of issue with the internet tonight. I don't know why, um, but something is not adding up tonight. But nevertheless, we are here, and thank you, Hadassah, for holding down the fort while I was trying to get in there. And it is where conversation sparks change and every voice matters. This is Real Talk Corner. And I'm happy to be alive and to be in the land of the living on this beautiful Sunday evening. And today is what, the
Yes,
20th of July. Wow, the time is really
it
flying.
is.
How you feel about this? I was hearing an announcement and they're talking about Christmas in July. And I'm like, yeah, right. Do people really have that kind of money to be spending
I
from in
mean,
July? But nevertheless,
people take it really seriously. It's not something that I particularly entertain because I don't understand it. Celebrating Christmas, I guess I wish you a Merry Christmas. And I think we are sticking again. What are your feelings?
yes, we are definitely sticking. But it's okay. We will continue. Tonight we are on for just an hour. We're not going to be very long tonight. We want to talk some topic. We want to continue on the topic rebuilding public trust through integrity and transparent governance, and that we I think we will go through for the rest of the month based on this topic because it is important for transparency in government to be a thing of the day. In the past 10 years, we see that was nothing of the day. Even before that, long before that, I don't think there have really been transparency in governance. Um, and somehow this time around, Hadassah, you may agree because I think you have been privy to those information. Every government minister has been coming out. They all have a social page. They are on TikTok. They are having every week you are seeing that they are coming together with the media and they are telling us what they are confronted with, what they are doing. It's not just what they are confronted with in the different ministries and what is happening, all the issues that they are encountering. They are also telling us what they are doing or what they propose to do. And I think that is a level of integrity, a level of transparency that we can rely on. Whilst there is a whole lot of people bumping their gums saying a lot of stupid things that makes no sense from the opposite side and otherwise, I believe from what I am seeing and experiencing with this new government is that there is a level of transparency and we are privy to information. I don't know what is your thought on it.
Well, yeah, definitely. I feel that that level of communication with the public was very warranted and it was long overdue. And like something that we were to feel there was a great commitment to uh, keep the public in the loop and make the public aware of how they are being represented, you know. So under the PNM, we did very much feel like we were cast away, like we did not matter, and we were starting to feel like we were under a bit of a autocracy where everything the government says goes, and it was not a matter of them doing our bidding. It felt like they were doing whatever it is they want, and their word was law. So it is very refreshing to have um, feel like if the ministers have come down a bit, to our level, to make sure that there are means and channels of communication with the public. Yes, a lot of the ministers have made sure that they are on social media. So some of them are on TikTok. You find them on Instagram and Facebook, and I really, really like that. And yes, when they come to speak to us, it is coming from this is what we were mandated to do, and they always talk about what they are doing from the angle of this is why we were voted in. So yes, they're very much keeping um, on topic in terms of what they are doing. They're not just doing anything. And I also like that while they have to discuss what they met when they got into office, there does not seem to be a strong emphasis on the blame game. They will say, okay, this is what we met. It has not been up to standard XYZ, but we will fix it. And then they move on. And then they every time they address you afterwards, they talk about how they are pushing in a positive direction. So I really, really appreciate the level of correspondence that is taking place. And I like how they have been open, hearing what the public has to say. They're very inviting and very patient with the media.
And I don't know why this is happening, but I hope that the viewers are seeing and hearing. I'm not, you have
With
been
the
sticking a
media,
lot,
and a lot of time
Hadassah.
the media would ask them a lot of softball questions. Um, But what we are getting now is that they're asking the government some very hard, unreasonable questions 10 weeks into office. And yet still they are still very gracious, and they would still to answer the media with grace and with patience. So yeah, I like what we're seeing. I have my I have my thoughts on how the SOE was um, handled and how it was told to the public, but we will get to that shortly.
Yes, definitely. I so much agree with what you just said. What I need to be mindful of right now, Hadassah, is that we are sticking a lot, and I don't know why it's happening, but I'm hoping that we would get it through our producers rectify shortly. Yeah, but definitely, this government under the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa as our Prime Minister has been transparent in a number of ways, and I think anybody who is saying that they don't know what is happening, it's either you're not listening to the news, you're not on the social media, or you're just being ignorant of the fact. But one of the things that really, take me back is this opposition led by the political leader, Miss Beckers, and also the chairman of the PNM party. I listen to him from time to time and the things he said, the question. For instance, he brought to the table with respect to the state boards that will be, I had to laugh, because he is saying that he's preaching the race game, Hadassah. Want people to believe that the
Hmm.
state boards are being filled with members or people of the Indian community only. And there isn't a mix, and trying to talk about the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, would not have accepted that. And I'm thankful for one of the media journalists who brought it out that, and even some of the political personals who talk about it's not so. Under the PNM time they showed you the ratio of Africans and Indians and whether there was Chinese and etc. etc. And it's like these people, they have a real political tabanka that every and anything our prime minister do or members of this new government do, they have a problem. They have to talk in the negative. I mean, the first thing he started with was the Minister of National Security under Homeland, right? You started with Minister Roger Alexander, but he does. And I was saying to myself, not everybody has the same amount of strength as others, right? Some people will go in there, especially if they're accustomed talking, and their maiden speech is going to be great and fantastic. And I know for a fact, even myself, you are accustomed teaching and preaching and having workshops and so on. But sometimes based on the environment, based on the persons around, there's this little trigger in your stomach, this little thing that makes you feel a little nervous, and you have to really bring yourself together or you can really settle. And I mean, this man took it that our Minister Roger is a dunce. But I like how Minister Roger Alexander bounced back. You understand? And all it needs is for us to take our time, stay calm, and be able to present, do your presentation. But the truth is, when someone is in that dilemma, you don't try to make them feel worse, whether you are in the opposition or you're in the government. But you see how these people are so bad minded and wicked with their deliberation. You're trying to make another man, another African man, feel as though he is not worth being where he is, as though the prime minister is using all the Africans that she put there. That is how they send it across, okay? She is using the African people. I was looking at a clip, I didn't really take much note of it, but it's a young man who I think got service as a child from the Children Life Fund when they were in power before, when the prime minister was there before, and he's now 18. And listen to me, I am not a person to pretend or propaganda. When she hugged that young man, Hadassah, something just went through my spirit, my whole body. It's like, look at the woman of class, the woman for the people. There is nothing racial about our prime minister. I cannot say that for every other minister that is on the team. But you see, that woman called Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, there is nothing racial about her. She sees children as children, people as people, whether you're African, Indian, Syrian, Chinese, she sees people as people. I am not saying that she is perfect. And one, there is no one that is perfect on the earth. The only person that is perfect is God. All right? But I looked at what she did when she hugged that child, and it's like Jesus saying, "Come unto me, all who are heavy and burdened, and I will give you rest." And I said, you would have never seen, if you did, Hadassah, correct me, Dr. Keith Rowley as Prime Minister held any child like that, a young man, especially a black, an African child, with such compassion. You could have, I mean, it wasn't just a hug. It was a hug of compassion, a hug of love, of care. And I think a lot of people saw it. A lot of people identify with what she did. Listen, this is the best government under Kamla Prasad Bisesa leadership that I have ever seen in my whole life since I'm a child to this very age. And people could say what they want. I am saying here now, loud and clear, that the government of the day should never be intimidated by nothing that the opposition members have to say, nor the people who have their grudges and their grievance have to say, but just continue to work, continue to serve the people, continue to put God in front and walk behind, as our leader would say, and continue to give human service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I must say, thus far, most of the ministers, all I have seen thus far is that they are working, they are communicating, and I am very pleased. And I know there are others who are very pleased with what is being done thus far.
Yes. Me too, Esther. When I saw that young man, I think his name was Garel. I don't know if David could help us him,
I
but when
can't
I saw
recall.
her embrace that young man, I know what it is she was thinking and feeling in that moment. Because sometimes when you do things and you have policies, you're not exactly certain who is being affected. That young man was evidence. He was proof. He was the fruit of 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 the concept of the children's life fund, right? And she embraced him. She was so happy that she did something good, that something good came out of a policy under her leadership, and that he was still alive. And then you recognize as well that it's not just about that moment. There is this consistent thread of being concerned about people afterwards. It was not a photo shoot up, it was not an opportunity to look good for the cameras. When you read the news article afterwards, you find out that um, she made sure that he got an internship at the Ministry of Public Administration for the summer, so that he could have a leg up in life. And this is what leadership is about. I felt really, really happy. I felt really happy, because people tend to be very critical of things for no reason. Anybody in their right mind knows that the Children Lives Fund is the right thing to do, but yet still you have people criticizing it just because it is an initiative that is headed up by the United National Congress and Kamala Prasad Bissessa. Um, and yes, we are always going to have things like that. Concerning uh, Marvin Gonzalez and the things that he's continuing to say. When he made that statement about he thought he was in Bangladesh, or he thought he was in Delhi, I am like, again, I would say that the PNM only has one card, which is race. It was such an inflammatory statement, and it was also so one sided, because I always say that context matters. Context matters, right? And objectively, if you have to be honest, when you look at the composition of the boards, yes, even in my opinion, there are more East Indian persons. But that is as a result of the persons who have supported the United National Congress, the persons who have typically supported that party, have mostly been East Indian people. We have found that in this last election, that the composition of the party has shifted. We have had a lot of black people um, voting for the United National Congress, abandoning the PNM because they were so fed up. And even that is reflected now in the new makeup of the members of parliament, right? There's a greater representation of Afro-Trinbagonians and Afro-Trinbagonians made up in the UNC because of that shift, right? But yes, you will still see it because typically the party has always had more Indian people. And there's nothing wrong with that. The PNM only has a problem with it when somebody else does it. But the makeup of the PNM party has typically been black people. And nobody does catch a fit when they make up their state boards. When you look and you can't see anybody else represented, it is very hypocritical. Let us not
Yes,
pretend
it
like we
is.
don't understand how these things work, right? If the makeup of the board tend to be skewed more East Indian, it is as a result, it is as a direct result of the persons who would have applied, of the persons who want to serve under the UNC, of the persons who the UNC is familiar with, of the persons who have typically supported the party. Oh my gosh, let us not pretend like we don't understand these things, right? And let us
That's
not
right.
allow ourselves to be swayed, and that every time these people try to rage bait us, that we take it and we go off on a tangent trying to call everything racist. That is not the case. It is not the case. I was looking at a series on YouTube, and it's two guys and they ended up in North Dakota, and I was like, that might be a very hard place to find a mayor who is black or a governor who is black, simply because the makeup of North Dakota is white people. Let us not pretend like we don't understand these things. It is basic things, right? So let us just um, put our confidence in the prime minister. Everybody she's selecting for these boards are highly qualified persons. And again, why are we focusing on race when we're supposed to be focusing on ability, qualifications, and competency? Can they do the job? Can they help her achieve her mandate, whatever it is she wants to achieve in these particular ministries? That is all we should be concerned about. If in 5 years Trinidad is a healthier place, a safer place, um, a more vibrant and economically stable place, if our children are doing well, if we have more food on our tables that is at a reasonable cost, and if all of this was because it was done by more East Indian people, who cares? Who cares? We will all be the beneficiaries of it, right? It does not matter who does the job as long as the job is done and it is done well, right? For years, we have
Exactly.
seen the PNM stack their boards and stack the ministries with incompetent black people. And I'm saying it. And I'm not saying they're incompetent because I'm black. I'm saying that there was never any they were never required. They were never required to perform. There was no requirement of performance. There was nothing that they were made to do, right? And we've seen it for years, for years, for years. We had Fitzgerald Hines as our minister of national security. Come on, get real, get real. We are adults. It is time for us to move beyond these things. I am so fed up.
And it's Hadassah. It is because of the incompetence. African, and let me say this, all Africans are not incompetent, are not unqualified or unqualified. The thing is, no, there were no requirement under the People's National Movement government. They put who they
Performance.
want, whether you educated,
Yes.
uneducated, just to carry out their mandate. The thing is, our Prime Minister now has a mandate to serve the people and to change this economy around. And it will take people with intelligence who are qualified to put their heads together to be able to fulfill the mandate that she's putting required and putting before them. So you can't just take up any Dick, Tom, and Harry and put them there because you think that there is not much more Indian people who would love to be on boards as well. But there is a mixture. You are seeing African Trinbagonian together with the Indian brothers and sisters who are there. But certainly you have to be certified. You have to be qualified. You cannot go there and all you do is see in front of you. You have to be able to plan way ahead. You have to be able to go with what she wants for Trinidad and Tobago. And everybody at the end of the day is going to become a part of what is happening because the change is not just for some, it is for the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. This is why it was said when UNC win, everybody wins. But they're not looking at that. You know what the PNM is saying? UNC win and people lose their job, as though it is only about CPEP and URP and these kind of low down kind of situation that they attend to. If you listen to the PNM MPs and some of their supporters and people that supposed to be in certain place of integrity, and you wonder in second year class if that is how far they reached. They didn't go further than second year in the primary school because they talk with no sense. And I mean, they probably have, like I said, a political vendetta or the tabanka or whatever it may be. But it is time now for them to stop their foolishness. You don't have to be a part of it. We need you all to be a part of it because I am certain that who is in government right now is going to fix this place together with our leader. All right? But they keep propaganda. They keep pushing and pushing the lies and the deceptive talks just to stir up anger and hate in the hearts of the African community. And I am saying to our African community right now, you all need to hold your peace. You all need to open your eyes and see, and your ears, read and listen and pay attention, and not just listen to those bumpers. You understand that is bumping their gum all the time because it will not profit you. You need to educate yourself as to what is happening in the country so then you can have a voice to say something, to talk about what is happening. Don't let this time pass by 5 years and you don't have a clue as to what is happening. And then when the PNM come with the propaganda at the end of the 5 years to talk nonsense, you are not never the not wiser because you don't know things. To stop listening to these people. Pay attention. See how it is working for you. There's many things that is being put in place, many things that is happening, and they need to wake up. Somebody say, they're saying, you're talking and you're singing for your supper. Right now, you see, this time around, nobody is singing for supper through our Prime Minister. Observing, she is taking note, she is making sure she cross her T's and dot her I's before she do anything that will come bite her. You know why? She said it. She was taken for granted the last time around, not this time. So we have to be very mindful of the fact that she is not putting any Dick, Tom, and Harry on a board because just support the party. No, you have to be qualified. Yes, there are many places that many people can be placed, but where the state boards are concerned, she is being very particular because state boards play a very important part and role in our activities and whatever is happening in our country to build our economy as well, to make wise decisions for these ministry to go forward and for people to go forward. So she's not going to just take anybody and just throw them there because you support the party. No, that is not what is happening. There are other things that is happening for persons who are supporters of the party and you are not qualified to be on a board. It's not everybody could be on a board, okay? The same thing happened under the PNM. And the chairman of the PNM, he could say whatever he wants. Hadassah, I think it's only a handful of people that really pay attention to them and people like ourselves because we have to be on top of the game so that we can educate our people who are listening. We need to do that. But for the masses of people, they don't have time with the PNM, because the PNM was there for almost 10 years. And all that they're talking about now, all the issues they want to raise, it was there since in their time, and they did not do anything about it. So now they should be ashamed, sit down, shut up, and learn. Watch, listen, and learn because they didn't do a good job at all, at all, at all. And while we add that, Hadassah, I want to join Trinidad and Tobago. I saw this on an ad. Congratulations to Sir Khalil Bratwith of Marabella North Secondary School, Form 104, on his selection to the Trinidad and Tobago national swim team. A young, bright African man, and I want to congratulate him. I want him to keep his head up, reach for the sky, reach for the stars, reach for the whatever he desire. It is within him if he would submit himself to learn and to take, the direction from you in the right path. So congratulations to Khalil. He is a Form 104 student, and I am very proud of him. And I want to see other young Black men start doing things, getting themselves involved, Nothing is wrong. The young Indian men, they are doing very well. But our African children seem not to have that influence, seem not to have the push and the encouragement to go forward with excellence. So I really take this time on behalf of Real Talk Corner. I want to congratulate him and to wish him all the best and Godspeed to him. Yeah?
Indeed. I mean, I'm very excited for what is going to take place in general under the Ministry of Sport under Minister Watts, because I honestly believe sport has been under it has been underappreciated and it has been undernourished and undernurtured in our society. I feel like we don't always understand how sport can open up so many doors and so many opportunities. If we look at people like Brian Lara, who to this day is loved and known around the world, and he lives a certain type of lifestyle, and that is because of cricket, right? And we always talk about the fact that not everybody might be academically inclined, but I'm really hoping for people who um, have inclinations towards sports and are really good in that area, that the Minister of Sport would really invest in our youth, invest in our young persons, even in parts of the country where we don't know if all these sports programs in all these schools are really boosted and helped and aided. Then I think we will have more news coming out of children being able to represent our country on a national and international level. So yes, congratulations to that young man. Esther, any thoughts
Yes,
on
indeed.
the SOE?
Well, as far as I can see and from what I've been hearing, the PNM as well as others try to make a big issue over this SOE. And this SOE is in no way humbugging or preventing the citizens from doing their business, from going about with their programs. It is put in place for them to deal with the bad seed in our communities. All right? And I give them full support, even if I am to be a little bit inconvenienced by a little traffic. So what? We are inconvenienced by traffic for so many different things. An accident takes place and there is so much traffic. Whatever it is, what I know is that they are doing what is necessary to weed out the bad seeds from among the good seeds. Okay, and seeds here represent the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And clearly we see since under the PNM, since they came into power, the crime rate has gone up. And of lately, they start back with kidnapping. I said it, I think was Friday or on Thursday. I believe that the PNM has a part to play in some of these criminal activity because I don't take them for granted with nothing when it comes to the UNC being in power. They will try to do anything to disrupt this country to make it look as though the UNC has no plan because they're saying it. They're the one who had no plan. But they would do anything in their power. They, together with the 1% or whatever percent you call it, they will do anything to disrupt this country at this point in time. Trust me. And it is my opinion that some of the things that is happening, the gangs and whatever within the prison doors and all of that, that they probably have something to do with it as well. However, I am in support with the Commissioner of Police, the Attorney General, the government through our Prime Minister, doing what is necessary to bring this country back to a place where it is safe for you to walk, it is safe for you to even live in your house, Hadassah. Because you're in your house, you have to make sure everything is locked up and tied up. And come on, you feel like you are in jail. All right. So they have my 100% support. I am trying to stay indoors more than outdoors because you know that there are certain things that's going to be taking place. There was still so much killing, okay? And they need to get a handle on it. And our Prime Minister, while she was a political leader on her Monday night forum, she made it clear that her government, she and her government is going to do whatever it takes to bring this country back to a safe place again, a place where our citizens feel safe. And if you have to take out, if they have to set a SOE in order to deal with the rogue element, whether in the police force, in the army, in the coast guard, wherever it is, so be it. And according to the Attorney General, we make no apologies for what is being done. So whoever want to bump and whoever want to say the negative and which PNM want to say what they want to say, let them go ahead. At the end of it, we want to see results. That is all that is matter. That really matters. People want to be able to walk the road again and feel a level of safety. Not that you will be totally naive of the fact that you have to, protect yourself and not walk too late. But people want to do that and feel a level of safety. One thing before I stop, the Venezuelans, they are partying. They are walking on the street 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, as though it's nobody's business. They have no self. How is it that they are out here? No concern, both male and female. I look out my window sometimes, I hear my dogs are barking, I look through the camera, and you're seeing some of them, they're renting, within your community. They're walking the road late. But we as citizens, we are afraid to walk the road late. From the time 10 o'clock reach, you want to be inside of your home. Talk to me. What you think you have
Well,
any
that is
idea?
true. No, I just think that that is just a natural thing. I feel like when you are like a foreigner in a different country, you have like a different concept of safety, right? Because I feel
That's true.
like because you're not from there, you don't really get and understand what the people of that country might be afraid of. So I don't think Venezuelans moving with the type of fear and trepidation that
Yeah,
we are
that we have.
moving with. But
That's true.
I think the biggest issue that people had is the fact that the SOE was announced and it was not announced by the Prime Minister herself. She did not come to address the nation. And people talk about the fact is she being hypocritical because when the last SOE was called and Pete Rowley was in Tobago fetting and whatnot, she was very critical of it, said that, he should have addressed the nation or whatnot. I mean, from my perspective, I know that if she did not address the public, it is because she was busy working. The Attorney General informed us that she had not slept for 2 days after they received this very credible information that there's a prison syndicate and they had a lot of plans to assassinate and kidnap and murder a lot of people. And I understand moving swiftly to ensure that your country is safe, right? I actually do maybe the way that the SOE was addressed could have been done differently just to appease the masses and not to invite undue criticism. All that being said, when people see that this SOE has been called in a frivolous way, they know that that is lie, right? The last time the SOE was called under the PNM, I feel like it was a move to cosmetically suppress the crime rate because they were totally out of ideas. They did not know what to do. This time around, she is moving, and this is the thing with Kamala Prasad Bisasa. She's not a reactive prime minister, right? She always front, right? She is very, very proactive in everything that she does. And she is doing this to safeguard lives and to ensure that the plots that these prisoners had does not take fruit, right? So, yeah, I am fully in support of the SOE. Like Esther said, it has not been done in a way that has hampered our movement and whatnot. Unfortunately, I see the cousin of Andrea Barrett was murdered, and now his family is calling for a curfew to accompany the SOE. I don't know what decisions are going to be made where that is concerned. But I have also been concerned about the resurgence of kidnappings and the resurgence of heinous murders and whatnot. And if this is a way, because as the prime minister, this is said, this is the line in the sand. If this is the way to once and for all flush out all these things, I can understand. I honestly believe that there is a connection between the uprooting of CPAP and what is going on, right? There has always been rumors and murmurings of the PNM being so closely aligned with community leaders and gang activity in Trinidad and Tobago. And I feel that now that the how should I say, the money line has been cut off, I feel that it is making a lot of people upset and it is making a lot of people angry. And I feel that yes, the European, the CPAP has been used to appease the criminal element in our country. And now that that has been uprooted, they are looking for ways to strike back. So yes, the way the government has to treat with it has to be very delicately, and it also has to be with a lot of force. I throw my full support behind Mr. Roger Alexander and the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Guevara. They definitely have a tall order, you know, but we will see what comes of it. So that is just how I feel about it. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Esther?
Well, based on what you shared with respect to Miss Barrett's cousin being murdered and the family asking for a curfew, I don't support it. I don't think that a curfew is going to solve any matter at this point in time. I believe that the Prime Minister and the other ministers are doing what is necessary. We shared at the last previous meeting program that the cameras were being fixed, and there is a lot of
Yes.
work that has to be done. While they deal with, put things in place to deal with some of these outbursts and criminal activities that seems to be lifting its ugly head high, they are doing what has to be done. And I am saying give the government 6 to 9 months to be able to see some real results. Remember, they came in meeting all this escalation of crime. That would not just blow away. Things have to be put in place, and things cannot be put in place in 1 month, not even in 3 months. They would have started. And of course, they cannot tell us, the population, all that they are doing. In the right time, they are going to announce what they think is beneficial to announce for the public to know. But they are doing what they have to do. And hence the reason calling the SOE was one of the things they had to do based on the intelligence that they got, all right,
Yes.
whilst they continue doing the groundwork to be able to bring some safety and to know, to let us know that they are doing what they're supposed to do. Now, on our next program on Tuesday, I want to talk a little bit about licensing and some of the things that can be done with respect, excuse me, with respect to the car registration. Like in America, if you drive in a vehicle that belongs to Douglasville, the registration is going to be different compared to North Carolina or to New York. So while you're in Douglasville, in Atlanta, whatever, if that vehicle is from New York or is from Pennsylvania, as the case may be. And I think even though we are a small country, they can have it done in such a way like because from Central, once the address is in Central, in Caroni, we have how much districts we have. Based on the district, they can have registered license plate based on that. So when somebody come from Mayaro to Central with a vehicle from Mayaro, you would know in Central that vehicle is not from Mayaro. Then even the highway patrol or the street patrol police officer could be alerted when they see a vehicle from Mayaro at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the night. When they stop you, if it's not because of your work, or because of some emergency that caused you to be in Central, then they can probably take you in for questioning or whatever. But there are things that can be done to curb some of these situations because you realize that people are leaving certain areas and going into different districts to commit their crime. All right. So there are some things that I want to talk about on that on Tuesday, our next program, so that the powers that be they can probably get an idea out of it because too much is happening. And I know with the cameras and all of that is being put in place, we need to have some boundaries. All right? You cannot leave Port of Spain and come to Central and commit a crime and go that easily. Then they might have to look for a vehicle from Central to go up to Port of Spain and do whatever and come back. I don't know how. But this have to be solved. There is ways that things can happen to solve the situation. But our time has come to a close, an hour is gone. We just have a few more minutes. However, I want Trinidad and Tobago to understand that we have to be a little patient and do our part. Remember, a lot of these criminal activity starts at our home. What are our parents doing with our young children is very important. The example that is being set, whatever influence that you all have over your young children, those who are already old and settled in their ways, it is difficult to bring them back except for some strong ground rules and being very stern with them and maybe having to be in the hands of the police. While I'm saying that, I know that there are rogue police officers. I talked about the prison officers before Friday because Hadassah, we cannot go into the prison and carry not even a telephone. They search you, they make you leave everything outside. So it meant that the gangs in the police service and the gangs in the prison, the corrective system, those are the people, those hierarchy that has authority to allow things to pass in and get paid for doing it are some of the people that the commissioner and all these in authority have to look at. And I am certain that they are aware of it because nothing that is going on here, and that's why this country is too small for drugs, for guns. Who bringing it in? Not you and I. We don't have the finances. We don't have the know-how to get those things in the country. But there is a clique of people that is bringing it in. And for years, you have been hearing it and nothing has been done. So they have to also deal with those issues, those people who feel that they are above the law, they have money, and nobody could do them anything. Those are some of the people that I want to see they getting themselves involved in taking them down because they are the ones who are bringing it and giving it to the little black boys and the little poor little boys' children who hungry and don't have any other way out. So they go to them because they want money. And you know what? Because they're uneducated for most of them, they want to bling. They want to drive nice car, but they don't want to work for it because they don't even know, some of them, how to spell their own name. So there's so much that has to be done. And I believe that our prime minister, together with other ministers in government, are looking at all these things. Everything is not going to happen overnight. It is not going to become perfect, but it is going to be tolerant for us to at least be able to go St. James from Shogunas and buy ice cream, or go in Montrose and sit down by the ice cream parlor and just relax a little bit. Now nobody does it because you are afraid if you sit down in front there, some gunman coming up to hold you up or to take away your vehicle. Some of the young people still go out, they may lose their life, but this is the situation, and it didn't happen under the United National Congress government. It happened under the PNM. So for the PNM, you all should shut up. Shake your face in it and allow our Prime Minister and her government to do what is necessary to bring this country back to a place where it's livable and it's peaceful and it's a place where you can feel comfortable. You spoke about, they're talking about she did not address the nation with respect to the SOE. I don't know the reason why she didn't do it, but I am almost certain, based on what the Attorney General said, she have been working tirelessly. And let me tell you, listen, this woman, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, she's up. And I ain't talking because of what somebody said. I am talking from proof. I had to do something and I was shocked. Okay, so I am saying that what they say may have a lot of merit. And if not, she know why she did not. Okay, so let us, yes, they might say, but she is a hypocrite. And she talk about Rowley. Rowley was partying. He was where he was partying at the time. She is not partying. She is doing the work and the business of Trinidad and Tobago. She's not partying. So suffer it to be so. We would see as we go along who is the true leader in this country, Trinidad and Tobago. Our time has gone. What are your last words, Hadassah, to people?
My my last words are I really
For
enjoyed
tonight,
this
eh? For
program
tonight.
tonight. Yes, I enjoyed the program tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody who is on the live and they're commenting. Thank you to all the new persons, Leno Cumberbatch and different persons, Darren Reed, etc., who are supporting us in the comments. Thank you so much. And yeah, we look forward to continuing these discussions with you. My only thing is that I will say is we cannot create a bar or an expectation for the PNM and then move the bar and the expectation for the UNC. So I think I would like to just see some just that equity in that area across the board, and let us as a society throw our full support behind the Prime Minister. We should not want this effort to fail, because if it is successful, we are all beneficiaries of it. We will all be safer, we will all be happier, we'll all be able to have free movement across our country again, which is so important. We'll be able to go and jog in the night and exercise and move around freely, feeling threatened and without fear. So let us all do our part as citizens. Raj Alexander has called for our help. If you see something, call, make a report, be active and be a part of this drive so that we can bring our country back to a state that we recognize and that is safe again. So that is it for me tonight. Thank you, Mr. Producer, as
Well,
always.
yes, yes. Thank you so much, Hadassah, for that. And I just want to say that equity can only happen when there is some level of order. This place is so disorderly and things has to be put in place. And then we can start to talk, well, there is no equity and there is no this and there is no that. Yes, a lot would have been said when the PNM was in power by the opposition based on how the PNM was operating. Now that the United National Congress is governance in this country, is the government, we need to watch and see what is happening. It's not that we're going to let anything wrong slide by, because I am not, real talk corner is not about that. We are about being real. And we're going to deal with every matter accordingly based on realness and based on truthfulness. But at the same time, we want to give them a chance to get their feet on the ground and to get things in order. Because if there's no order, if there is not a flat surface, it's going to be a lot of bumpy ride. And sometimes you can tip over or fall apart. But we're going to give them the support that they need, at least for a year. If in a year nothing is happening, then we would dig deep to find out what is really taking place. But it's up to us as well to work along with them to show that it is not just who we put to govern, but we ourselves, because of the state of our country, we too have to work together with who we put there to govern and to manage our state of affairs to make sure that things go the way that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, wants it to go. So with that, I want to thank all our viewers. I want to thank you all for the comments, the suggestions, and also to remind you that we're going to be back here on Tuesday, 8 p.m. And of course, it's going to be a call-in session tonight. Unfortunately, we apologize that we were unable to have and take any calls or WhatsApp as the case may be. But definitely, as God spare our lives and we are alive, we're going to be back here and we would have our calling segment. So thank you all again. Thanks to our producer and to everyone who is working behind the scenes to make this program a success. I am totally grateful. We have said it. It's up to you. You have heard it. And now it's up to you to make your decision. Until next time, let your words be power and your voice be purpose. God bless each and every one of you until we meet again. Bye bye.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?